Hello, 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 my friends. Thank you for joining me on the Nerdy Nebula. I'm one of your co-hosts, Nicholas W. Fuller, and this is, of course, the show where we travel the galaxy looking for the best nerdy stuff. And I've got a great show tonight with some of my friends. First, I've got my co-host, Steele. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I was not prepared for how professional that intro was, so I don't have any nice sound effects or anything, but I'm very glad to be here.
Yeah, I gotta pull out my radio voice just a little bit in the beginning, you know.
You just put me to shame right out the door.
And tonight we're also joined by two lovely ladies, Marie Parks. Hi, Marie.
Hello, good evening. I mean, good day, whatever anyone's watching this.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, right? Like Truman Show.
Good, just good.
Yep, yeah. Good time. Good time. And Jess
Honard. I used to be a high school teacher, and I would tell my students the best way to remember how to pronounce my last name is Ha, like you're laughing at me, and then nerd,
Yep.
like you're calling me a nerd. So,
like
Honard.
nerd. I have to imagine though, like, I mean, I call people nerd as a term of endearment. Is that the way you've internalized it? Yeah.
100%.
And we're going to talk about lots of nerdy stuff tonight. I'm excited. Of course, we're going to talk about favorite movies. We're going to talk about favorite games. And we're going to talk about favorite books. But we're also going to talk about talking cats, and maybe we're going to talk about gossip, and we're definitely going to talk about rock climbing. It's going to be an adventure. It's going to be an adventure. And whatever else comes up. You got any tricks up your sleeve, ZB?
Yeah, I got like a kind of a small little game for them to play later, but
Oh, do you? Really?
nothing too exciting, so don't stress out yet. But
Okay. All right.
yeah,
All right. Nice.
Immediate stress. No.
Complete deer in headlights look.
yeah, I wanted to say that early, so we just derailed the whole interview. Where you guys, that's the game, man.
That's the game. That actually is the game. Like, can they do an interview with stress? Yeah. Cool. So yeah. I know that Zach, you kind of prepped some questions, right? You wanna take the lead with the first question? What do you think?
Yeah, sure. So we talked a little bit behind the scenes about Lord of the Rings movies. I think we all kind of grew up on it, whatever. So I'm going to start out and ask you guys to rank them.
Oh, ooh.
You were just asking for fights right out of the gate.
You know what?
Controversy sells.
I actually,
Hot takes.
I already know this is a question for them, but I'm jumping in. My number one is Two Towers. Two Towers.
Yeah, same. Okay, I was afraid I was going to be the outlier. Yes, Two Towers is at the top for me.
Yeah.
I go Two Towers, then Fellowship, then Return. That's my order.
Yep.
I think that's
the right
the rank.
order.
Unless Marie has something else, then can make a very compelling argument. But it's 3-on-1, and I think we could take her.
No, my problem is basically every 3 years, I'm like, I need to do a marathon, and I just watch all 12 hours of them, so I don't actually quite know where one ends and one begins anymore.
You say a problem, but I think you do not know what that means. Like,
It's a problem for ranking them because I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, was
Wait,
the
what?
tomato scene in this one? Or
oh yeah. The tomato, that's Return of the King, I think. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I actually really like that scene, even though
It's a powerful scene.
it's a meme.
Especially, yeah,
but
like,
it's
gross.
gross. And I love a cherry tomato. I'm growing them in my garden, but
and soon she's gonna just eat them and make a Hobbit cry. Yeah. Right.
Are you preparing to have two sons and just hate one of them?
yeah, I'm definitely gonna play favorites, just like I am with Lord of the Rings movies.
So what's your ranking, Marie? I know you don't, we have to come up with something. Is it number one, Return of the King, because of the tomato scene?
No, I do like that scene though.
Is it number two
It
with
probably
potatoes?
It is number two. It's number two, number one, number three. But I love them all, and you need them all.
Well, of course.
The problem with number
of course.
three is it has 1,000 endings, and I know why it has 1,000 endings thanks to the teachings of Mary Robinette Kowal. But still, it doesn't work. So
Is it the mice quotient?
yeah, it's a nice quotient thing.
Right.
So
No.
Before we move on, in the interest of pursuing controversy, I have something you guys are gonna hate.
Okay.
The original movie cut is better than the extended cut
For Return of the King only.
for all three.
Oh, get
You're
the fuck
asking
out.
me to remember
Get
being a
out.
middle schooler? I
Get
can't.
out.
I mean,
No
it adds like
way.
an hour of content. We're like, yeah, it's good, but it's not peak anymore. It's just fine. It's good.
Oof.
I think it depends on what you're watching for. Because, like, okay, so, confession.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
you all asked me to list, like, a movie that I really loved, and I put Lord of the Rings. So, I don't actually watch movies very often. I'm not a big movie
Okay, well, that's
person.
fair.
So, one, Lord of the Rings was formative to when I was in high school, and two, it's my wife's favorite thing. So I was like, I can at least speak to Lord of the Rings because it's on
Yes.
constantly because it's her comfort watch.
Yep.
She watches it for the extended editions because she has gone deep into the like Silmarillion book clubs and things like that. Whereas I'm more of a casual viewer, so for me, like the theater editions are where it's at. So I think it depends on why you're watching it.
You can leave with ZB. You can. No, just kidding. I mean, like, I think that you're right with Return of the King because the theatrical reduces the
I'm 1/3 right.
endings. You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, but the Two Towers where we've got Saruman and we've got the Mount Doom and the Two Towers. No, they like that one. No, I love the added content, especially when you hear more of Faramir's story. You know, and also like, I mean
yeah.
the scenes with Faramir and Boromir are only in the extended editions. You know.
Oh. See, I don't remember because I've only watched them in theaters when I was, 13 or something? Like, I don't remember.
Now Zach's like,
the...
wait, I can see him like thinking about that.
I don't know how old I was, but I was definitely like in middle school when they started, I think. But I think the other thing about Return of the King that I don't think translated that well was the like Army of the Dead thing. Like, it just feels a little hokey and it's cool, it's epic, but it feels kind of just like, all right, well. Like,
Fair.
it's visually kind of
my
weh.
dad
And...
not getting that scene because like Aragon's like all honorable and stuff because he's like such a textbook villain. He's like, I would have just kept them as a ghost army slaves, you know, and just wreaked havoc. Like, you don't get it. It's not the point.
They would have wreaked havoc on him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think that would not have gone well. Yeah. I see where you're coming from, but like, I don't know. Maybe it's because like it was I watched it when I was a wee lad. You know, I was just like, yeah, look at them, it's awesome. You know, like they're killing the bad guys.
Oh,
It is
we used to play in the
awesome.
playground for hours.
Aw.
So Maria
Just
Jess,
don't
I kind of
ask
did you guys a disservice asking that question first. The first question should be, it's kind of a favor. Can you guys, as braggadociously as possible, pitch your newest book coming out?
Oof, braggadociously. I don't know. Marie, do you want to take this one or should I? Which one of us brags better?
Definitely not me, but I'll try.
Do it as a favor to me. Leave all humility at the door, and then if someone's like, wow, you have a high opinion of yourself, just blame me. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Zach made
Thanks.
me. Yeah.
I really like that question. Thank you. So, it's called Undeniable, and it is the sequel to our award-winning debut. I'm doing good. I'm on the right path. Okay, good. Thumbs up. Yeah, so it's probably easier to start with the first one, which is the story of a woman who's searching for her missing sister and discovers hidden magic and sinister secrets. It is like a supernatural thriller, and it won some awards, like the New Mexico Book Awards, Best LGBTQ Title. Got a couple of finalists in a couple of categories, sci-fi, fantasy, and first book, New Mexico. And the way we actually got connected with our publisher was through the book pipeline unpublished manuscript contest. So we were finalists for that. But yeah, the sequel follows what happened after that. So now Bridget, our main character, has found her sister, and in the meantime, she's wrestling with grief over what happened and like all the things that went wrong in book one, while her sister is wrestling with new identity, and really sort of shifting place in the world. Yeah, anything you want to add, Jess?
Just that it's really hard to like hype up a sequel without giving like massive spoilers. So like kudos
Yeah,
to you, Marie, for managing to like keep it surface level.
I pretty much spoiled the heck out of book one there, sorry.
I mean,
'Cause
there,
the first
there are
book is like,
definitely
did
spoilers,
she-
but like there could have been a lot worse spoilers. So like if you haven't
fair.
read book one, you did not just get so spoiled that you wouldn't enjoy reading book one. So definitely
Of
like
course.
read book one, enjoy the shit
No,
out
I
of
think
it, and then
I feel
enjoy
like that's like you, a little bit of a hook. You're saying like there's grief
Right.
in book two, so now I'm gonna read book one and be like, who's gonna die? You know, right?
There you go. Yeah.
The other thing I'll say about it is, like we have a lot of fun co-writing, so I think
Nice.
like that hopefully comes out on the page. That we enjoy telling a story together. And I was going to say another thing that was more about the story. I can't remember. But writing a sequel's hard. Some people say it's easier. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah. So
Maybe
you're,
not.
you guys are probably not gonna like this question too much because no author does. But just for the listeners to really sell them on this award-winning, enjoyable as shit novel, can you guys give me like some if you like this, you'll like our book kind of thing?
Comp titles
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this economy.
I know authors fucking hate doing it, but
Yeah.
All right. I can take
I'm
this
trying
one.
to make you guys as many sales as I can here.
Yeah, no
Thanks.
worries.
Appreciate
So
it.
I'm going to stick with the comp titles from book one because I think they also apply to book two in a lot of ways. Again, without like diving too deep into spoilers. So the way that I usually talk about it with someone who's like never heard of anything related to this at all before is if you liked the magic system of Avatar: The Last Airbender, or if you're a Sanderson fan of Elantris, similar vibes there. And then if you liked the story of sisterhood and family and the tension that comes along with that, that comes out of what's it
Sarah
called?
Gailey?
Sarah Gailey, Magic for Liars. That kind of gives you the vibe that you're going for. It is contemporary, so that's the Magic for Liars side of things. Whereas obviously the magic systems that I gave examples of are more of a second world fantasy element. But this does take place in modern day Cleveland, which is where I grew up. So
You
Neat.
get mad if I say my condolences.
I don't know if we
no,
treat
because I don't
Cleveland
live
with
there
the most
anymore.
love.
But I will say that I do think that Cleveland is a very underrated city, mostly because it has the unfortunate experience of being in Ohio. But as a city, it's great.
I don't know. Everyone poops on Ohio, but like when I
It's getting
visited Ohio, I'm
a lot
like,
of shit these days.
when I visited Ohio, I'd always drive through like West Virginia, and I'm like, well, at least Ohio's not West Virginia, you know?
That's what I grew up in North Carolina, and that's what we would say. I'm so sorry to any West Virginian listeners.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah, yeah.
I actually look forward to driving through West Virginia because I was like, ooh, hills. Whereas like a lot of Ohio does not have hills. But the part of Ohio that I grew up in is not all cornfields and soybeans. I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the fact that it was Cleveland itself was a Rust Belt city, and it really had that sort of like gritty noir atmosphere to it, especially when I grew up, which was not at Cleveland's height at all. It's definitely had a bit of a comeback since those days. And that's something we tried to capture in the books. And I think, hopefully, we did a pretty good job of it in the first book, which really takes place, at least a good chunk of the time, in the downtown area.
So I want to build on ZB's questions here and ask you two more. One, you already gave comps, but what about tropes? Because I see on Bookstagram, right, and Book Talk, like everyone's like, what are the tropes in the book? And I even was trying to like pitch my own book, and like someone was like, well, what tropes do you have? And I'm like, is that even a thing in the science fiction fantasy community? I don't know if it's as much of it, but
Yeah. TVtropes.com or whatever it is. They have a million ridiculous and nuanced ones. Yeah.
Right. But I definitely didn't have the one bed trope, you know? That one's not in my stuff. But what tropes do you guys use in yours? And then the other thing, real quick, just to let you ponder this, like in before we got started, you guys were telling us that your book launch has been pretty successful, and you were launching one of like kind of the lead in your catalog. So would love to hear a little bit more about, just a little bit about kind of how you made that happen. But go ahead.
Okay.
So tropes, hit me.
I did the comps. You get the tropes.
Okay. We do not have a one-bed trope. So, okay. Some tropes. We have the amateur detective.
Okay.
We have the amateur detective versus the actual detective who's just acting as a roadblock. The missing person case going cold. We have the amateur detective and her plucky ghost hunter sidekick. Is that a trope? I don't know. Why not? It should be.
It should be. It's probably on tvtropes.com, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. It's
Yeah.
just got to be there.
Being written right now.
Yes, someone's feverishly typing.
Yep.
And then I'd say there's also like something's afoot. You know, like something ain't right. There's probably magic. Yeah, and then kind of like noir that isn't. Supernatural thriller. Somebody called the book at one point like pot boiling or pot. What was it? What was the word? Pot boiling?
Hot simmering? Something like that.
Pot simmering. Where it's like, you know, you get to the end of the chapter and you're like, well, now I have to read the next chapter. Jess is really good at writing those. So yeah, I'd say those are pretty much the main tropes. Unless you could think of anything else, Jess.
I mean, I think there's a lot of family-related tropes that I can't think of any specific ones right now, but that just sort of like exist if you go to TV tropes and whatnot that you could see echoes of within our story because it does talk a lot about family, not necessarily like there's the family bond obviously between the sisters that's sort of driving the whole investigation on Bridget's side, but there's also sort of a deeper exploration of found family and what does family even mean, what does identity mean, things like that, which are more themes than tropes, but I feel like there are a lot of tropes that happen because of those themes, so I'm sure we did a lot of them.
Yeah, and also
Nice.
like, you know, Bridget's kind of asking like, well, who am I without my sister here? If I've always based my identity on taking care of her. So yeah, there's a lot of like parentification and like the older sister who's like too responsible and the younger sister who's maybe less. Yeah, so you're right. There's definitely those tropes as well.
I will say, this is not related to our book, but I have done the one room, one bed trope in my my Lesbians in Space story, that short story that was released this past summer, and it was actually a lot of fun to write.
I mean, makes sense there. There's only so it would be so much more payload to launch a second bed, right? Like,
Right, yeah. Well, and that particular anthology, the goal of all of the short stories in that anthology, like the pitch that they set out for submissions was to make it as tropey as possible. They're really leaning hard into really tropey stories that happen to feature lesbians in space. So it was a lot of fun to write and be like, ooh, because a lot of times when people talk about tropes, they're like, ooh, you have to avoid those tropes. So it was really fun to be like, oh yeah, I get to lean into the tropes. Like that was a really fun writing experience.
nice. All right, so I want to hear from you guys just like a couple, 3 minutes about like kind of what you did to promote the book that helped lead it so successful. But then I want to, you just mentioned Found Family, and that's going to be the perfect segue into talking about one of your favorite movies, Marie, which is Serenity, which definitely, I mean, they are very much hitting Found Family. So book launch first. Tell me your secrets so that I can learn.
Go, Jess.
All right, you want me to take this one? So
Yeah, because I took the last one.
Okay, so I think it's important to kind of level set Marie and I our background prior to being co-writers. So we also owned a business together. It was a content marketing agency where we worked with clients to market their things. And their things varied widely, from coaching to like healthcare related classes, just all across the board. And so we both have a background in marketing that really served us well when it came time to do a book launch. We had seen a lot of what worked, what didn't. We'd had the opportunity to experiment with other people's things before we had to apply it to our book, which was great. Not a chance that a lot of people get. And I think that helped a lot. But The things that we took from all of that experimentation and learning over the years that really worked for us. Like, there's no magic trick to it. Like, relationships, that was the biggest thing. I know. Like, we built relationships over the years. We helped other people for all the years that we were writing the novel, all the years we were revising, looking for beta readers, all of that. We were also seeking out a community, building up that community, helping to beta read for other people, helping to essentially, like, you know, give goodwill to the community so they would give the goodwill back. So that helped a lot.
Yep.
The other thing that helped a lot with the actual launch itself, I would say two things were really big. One was emails. So my personal specialization is email marketing. So really, like, building a list, hitting them, and not just doing, like, one email. Hey, I launched a book. And then
Damn
silence.
it. Knew I
And
did
then, like,
something
another
wrong.
email, like, after the book is launched, like, hey, did you see I launched a book? Like, no, we did. I think I just counted it recently because we were setting it up for our upcoming next book launch. I think we did, like, 26 emails for the first launch.
Over what time period? Like over
3-month
4
period.
months? 3 months?
About 3.5 month period.
Word.
It was a lot. But it was to people who had opted in. It was people
Yeah.
who asked to see it, and we had, you know, segmentation and stuff going on, so people weren't getting what they didn't want. And then in those emails, we asked them to do things very clearly.
You had calls to action?
We had very clear calls to action, and they were not all just by the book. Some of the calls to action were, hey, we posted about it on social media, can you share our post? Or,
That's really smart.
hey, we need reviews on day one. Here's a primer on how to write a good review. You don't have to write the review, but if you want to, this is the best way to help us on release day. So really giving people clear actions helped a lot, and then we gamified it. And I'll let Marie talk about the gamification bit, because I know gamification gets her excited.
Well, yeah, so we were like, we asked our publisher, like, I think this is how it started. It was like, what's a good number of pre-orders? Because we had no idea. And I think he said something like, if we get 100, I'll be really excited. So we were like, okay, we're going to tell our list we need 100. And if we can get there, you know, like the little thermometer where it's like, you know, you're building up to the goal. And so we got to 100, and basically we just said, and if you do it, just like email us back or send us, like, you know, your receipt or whatever, and we'll add it in. And then we got to 100, so we're like, well, what's
What
the
now?
most you've ever had? And so we got some number, I don't remember, from Ben.
One
Our goal
million.
ended up
Remember?
being 150, and we had about 170 people who confirmed that they bought the book, but then when we actually got the numbers back at the end of everything, it was closer to 450.
What?
God bless.
And that ended up being the best, the most number of pre-orders they'd ever had at that publishing
yeah.
house. So that was exciting because it just kind of felt like a snowball. And
Yeah.
those were just the people who knew us, who were like writing back and knew we were like asking for this information. So
Right.
there were other people who heard like podcasts or saw, you know, stuff. And I guess that's the other thing is like, we just weren't afraid of no for an answer because like, what's the worst case scenario is like, you're just status quo.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we just asked things, and like we asked for blurbs from people who now I'm like, what are we thinking? But like we got some of them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know? So that was great. And not just blurbs either, but like interviews and opportunities for events and stuff like that. So, and I think that's really carried us forward throughout to say like, I'm going to pitch myself to be on a panel. I'm going to pitch
Yeah.
myself to whatever. And like, sometimes it works out. So yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
I
How many
think if I
people
had
are
to-
on your email list?
Not a lot, like 150, 200 maybe now.
I think there's 200. Yeah. It's not a lot.
Really? You got
Yeah.
170 people to send you their pre-order like thing out of like 200? That's
Some of
great.
them are social
it
media.
Was, it was a combination of that and social media, so people were sending it through multiple avenues.
And like Discord communities and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Lady
it just
Astronaut Club?
boils down to really make it fun and
Yeah.
like care, build relationships, and then like, you know, it's a opportunity to mutually lift one another up, especially in writing communities, but among readers too. Like readers love to read, and they love to talk about things that they like reading. And so if you're able to build those relationships with other readers, because most writers are also readers, like it only leads to a net positive.
Wouldn't it be so nice if you could outline your novel, organize your world building, write your book, format your EPUB, and publish it on the same website? Well, you're in luck. Campfire is the all-in-one platform for authors, offering both a full-featured writing software and KDP-style publishing, but with 80% royalties and none of the predatory practices you're stuck with when you publish with a monopoly. Campfire's tools feature versatile panels that make creating characters as simple as moving note cards around a corkboard, only much more organized, convenient, and without the inherent dangers of working with thumbtacks. Its wide range of tools include templates for creating settings, a magic system builder, and more, all of which are connected to a word processor that makes it easy to reference your notes as you write. When you're ready, publish your book on Campfire's ebook shop and include artwork, world-building notes, short stories, and more for readers who want to explore your setting in more detail. Try Campfire today at campfirewriting.com and bring your book to life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm
you
a
guys
real
are
big
hitting on a lot of
believer.
stuff, like,
Yeah.
it is kind of sad in today's age. You can't just release a book into the ether and be done and never market it. That day is dead. And you guys
Yeah.
are touching on some things that I see a lot of authors do, where they think like, oh, I'll release my debut and then I'll just fuck off into the wind and it'll be mass possessed. It's like,
I'll be a billionaire.
yeah. So you guys are really touching on a lot of things that I think are. Obviously, you guys are killing it. You guys are crushing it.
Well, you know, before we went on air, you kind of made a face at the word marketing, and I said, "Oh, get ready." And your time has come. No, I think your reaction to marketing is not uncommon, especially among creatives. Like creatives want to create; they don't want to spend time feeling like they're shilling a product. And I think for a lot of people, that's what marketing feels like. And I think there, unfortunately, is an ecosystem that has been created around marketing being just manipulation for the lowest common denominator. But the really cool thing about being a creative is you're not one of those assholes doing that. You get to reframe marketing as a way to share something that you've created. And I don't know why every single person creates. I don't know why you create, but I create because I have stories that I really want to share with people. And I know that if I market those stories and if I talk about those stories and I talk about why I love those stories and why they have meaning to me, they might connect with someone else who will find meaning in that story too. And it may be the story they need to hear. So I'm not afraid of marketing. I embrace it as a way to build those connections so that people can get to the art, to the creations that they are looking to consume. And I'd rather us do it than some like AI produced marketing shill that's happening over here. I'd rather be on the front end of all of that, like getting my stuff in their hands first, or the stuff of my friends, the stuff of the other creators out there who I admire and respect and who are doing really good things in the industry. Yeah. So that's my little stake in the sand.
Yeah, no, I think that all tracks.
So there's ZB.
Take that.
I take back
Write
my
an
place.
email.
It's like, I don't know, it's when marketing conversations go on for like 50 minutes, that's when I'm kind of like, all right, you know. That's what I tap out.
Yeah, for
Fair.
sure. I mean, there's a lot of nuance that can get super convoluted and annoying real fast, and you don't need all of it. I think a lot of people try to sell you on the details when the broad strokes really are like what I was talking about earlier, like building relationships, making it fun, finding connection. Marketing at the end of the day, good marketing is about building relationships and like having that emotional connection and finding that emotional connection with people. And, you know, hopefully for all of us, it's a positive emotional connection. And so that's what I really think marketing is. It's like all those other details are just like, I mean, they're great if you really want to dig into it, but that's not the important part.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about positive, because Nick and I have a pretty strong connection, and it's like just hate-filled.
Total frenemies over here.
You know who's even worse? Noah's Brisk Reviews and Ryan Cahill. They're like, you know, they're just...
They go out.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
hate to see it. It's like, you know, my two best bros just going at it. They don't think about me at all, but I think about them a lot.
Think about that. Yeah.
Aw.
So,
All right.
Marie and Jess, I have a question for y'all. And, feel free to lie if this touches on a sensitive topic. But, so since y'all are co-writing, like, have you guys ever, like, clashed? Have you guys ever been like, fuck you, I want to do it this way, and then, no, fuck you, I want to do it this way? Like, how does that work out?
So, like Jess said, we had a business together, and we had that business for 10, 12, 13 years, a lot of years.
So you've got all the fuck yous out of the way already.
Like, we've already dealt with challenging client conversations, or like money conversations, or ownership of intellectual property conversations, or just like what's a priority for you is maybe not a priority for me in this moment conversations. And so this felt pretty easy by comparison, because like really the only stake for it was like, is this good for the story? And also, can we keep our friendship more important than anything else? And so when you do that, like, your idea doesn't need to take precedent over anybody else's, and yeah, it's just about keeping the friendship strong, because that's more important than any book we're writing.
Yeah, I would agree
like
with that. I would also say that in addition to running the business, which I think like the two of us having to go head to head with difficult clients, like built a sort of camaraderie that I think made it much easier for us to kind of turn towards collaborating together in a problem solving way rather than a way that caused friction. But the other thing that we did for years before we started writing novels together is we would do text-based role-playing together, just stories in our particular fandom, which was Animorphs. And for years, like years and years and years and years, we would have these sidebar conversations happening that were just role-playing stories that we were writing in these universes. So
What do you mean were? Why is this past tense?
Okay, are. Hey, you owe me a post, so I mean.
Okay, but it's like been within like a few days. We're fine.
Okay. Anyway, so we got so used to writing collaboratively when there were zero stakes. Like, absolutely zero stakes. None of this has ever seen the light of day. Could do whatever we wanted. So when it came to writing a novel, it was sort of like, we've practiced this for like hundreds of hours. So a lot of the conversations really came naturally in terms of like figuring out what was best for the story, or like I'd be like, I'll take this character and like build this one out a little bit, and Maria will take this character and build that one out a little bit. And it just, if we came to a point in the story where we were like, we don't know what to do next, we're like, oh, let's just role play it for a while. Let's just do a little sidebar conversation. And that has really helped us avoid conflict, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's super cool. I mean, I think, yeah, like, role-playing games are really just collaborative storytelling, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ZB, have you played D&D before?
Yeah, I ran a campaign for like 2 years. I had to wrap up the last session like a week before my kid was born. And I was like, there's no way I'm doing all this. Forget it.
Yeah.
I ended up writing like a 25,000 word little novella, because there's a tabletop RPG called Delta Green. You guys ever heard of it? It's kind of X-Files-esque. You're hunting monsters. Oh, it's really cool. It's
Sounds fun.
rules. And I was having a tough time getting my group to find the time, and I was really like, I don't need those people. I'll just fucking write a novella.
I'm writing that
Write
down.
my story without these assholes. Then my players will do what I want anyway. This is great.
So actually, my novel that's coming out next spring in April of 26 originally started as a Gloomhaven story.
Very
So yeah,
Nice.
it is no longer that. It is my own IP, so I can publish it. But yeah.
Right. No, well, let me go back to the co-writing just a little bit. Like, because I mean, I understand that you're talking about, you guys have been working together for a while. You've been doing the RPG, gaming for a while, and that's all helped. But how did you like nuts and bolts? How did you break down the process of writing? Was it like, Marie writes this scene and Jess writes this scene, and then you guys like swap and edit, or was it like, Yeah,
That is
tell me.
way, way too organized for us.
We're minimally efficient.
So, the whole role playing thing is sort of like a blessing and a curse, right? Because we were so used to like literally line by line, like I'd write a line in character, and then Marie would write a line in character, then I would, then Marie would, and like back and forth and back and forth. And so when it came to writing novels, we were like, well, let's just do that. Not quite that granular, but what we ended up finding that worked for us is synchronously being in the same dock at the same time, which is a little complicated in different time zones, but we make it work. Poor Marie has to get up way too early right now. And we get into the dock, and one of us starts writing, and the other person is a couple sentences behind editing. And then, like, if I'm the one writing and I run out of steam or I get to something that I know Marie can write better than me, I'll just stop, and Marie will pick up this sometimes mid-sentence, and I'll go back and I'll accept her edits and start doing my edits behind her. And so we just loop around like that until we both get stuck and have to have a conversation.
Nice.
That is very
We
cool.
did.
I've never heard done that way. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Chaos.
We've experimented with other stuff for Undeniable, the sequel, mostly because of time constraints. So we did kind of experiment with like, okay, maybe one of us will write this chapter. And it got done, but it's not as fun. And then we also kind of created the shorthand of like, you know, one of us be typing and then just say like hate in all caps and just keep going, and the other person can just smooth out. It's like I hate what I'm writing. It's just SOS, but like I still have an idea, so I'm gonna keep going, and then the other person's there to just catch you when you fall. So
Nice.
So a follow-up question on that: if we picked up book one and read you guys a random page, could you guys tell like who wrote what, or is it kind of indistinguishable at this point?
Yes, because we both wrote every stupid word of that book.
Yeah.
Really, I mean truly.
We went through it so many times, not just in the initial
Yeah.
draft, but in the revisions and post betas, and we both changed the same sentence so many times that it truly. There are maybe a handful of individual words or phrases that I could pick out of Unrelenting and be like, that's a Marie phrase. But that is probably as close as I could get to identifying what one of us wrote versus the other.
Wow.
That's very cool.
A cliffhanger chapter ending, that's Jeff. And then anything that's like a little slightly too poetic is probably me.
Not too poetic, just not as poetic as I would write it.
It was too poetic until you came and graciously edited me to actually fit the tone of the novel.
I like my prose purple personally. I like when people
Great.
get a little out there, a little, leave it out to dry. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I do too, and then I hear it in an audiobook and I'm like, it's a little much.
Yep.
All right, I have a game idea. If you got it, Nicholas, I don't know if you have any questions right now, but
Let's stop leaving them in suspense. Let's go ahead and hit your game idea.
okay, do you guys know how to play Wavelength?
No.
Okay, good. I should explain it to the audience anyways. So the way that it works, whoever gets picked is going to pick a number in their head, and they're not going to tell us, the group. So
Okay.
let's say, 1 through 10. And let's say if you pick 10, and then I ask you the question of, from 1 to 10, give me a soda based on how famous it is. If your number's 10, you would say, like, Coca-Cola. If your number's, like, 7, you might say, like, Dr. Pepper or Mountain Dew or something. If it's 3, you would say, Dr. Thunder or
Cheerwine.
something.
Yeah, Dr. Thunder, yeah.
Yeah, does that make sense?
I think
Yes.
so.
I think it's, if we just dive in, I think we'll be all right.
Okay.
But I need
Okay.
you to volunteer.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Marie, you gotta pick a
I learned
number
by
1
doing
through 10 in your
sometimes.
head.
Pick a number. Sorry.
1 through
say
10.
again.
Yep.
Okay.
You got it? Okay. We're gonna ask you 4 questions, and me, Jess, and Nick are gonna kind of debate between ourselves where we think you're at. And then
Okay.
when the 4 questions are up, we're gonna guess, and you're gonna tell us if we're right or wrong.
Okay.
So your first question, 1 to 10, give me a woman character based on how badass they are, with 10 being the most badass and 1 being the least.
You said a woman character?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um.
And this has to fit within that scale with the number that you picked that's in your head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Xena, Warrior Princess.
Pretty high.
Four?
Pretty high on this. 4?
Yeah.
You don't think Xena's a badass?
I'm gonna keep a poker face.
I might not be
over
thinking of the right Xena. I'm thinking like the Disney.
Disney. I mean,
Oh,
no, it was like a
No, like
like
the
90s.
80s show.
He's a little. Was it 8? No, it was 90s. Get out of here with the 80s. It was a
I think it
90s
was
show.
80s. I think it might have been like late 80s, early 90s.
I was
No.
born in '95, so I don't think they made TV shows before that.
It's true. This is famously true.
right.
Before then, we just had those wheels with sticks, you know?
So you might not be familiar with the Xena that I'm sure that Marie is talking about. It was Lucy Lawless, and it was kind of the counterpart to the Hercules TV show, and it was way better. And she was jumping around, going la 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 la. But she had the sword and that like amazing like spinning blade thing. She was. I don't think she's pretty high on the badass list personally, but. Now I'm trying to read Marie's poker face, and I'm like not sure if I'm, she's like,
Mine's a very bad poker face.
huh?
Jess, what are you thinking? You thinking like a 7 to an 8 kind of range?
I'm thinking it's higher. Yeah,
Okay.
like an 8,
Higher than-
8-ish, 8 or 9.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right, Marie, 1 to 10, with 10 being the longest. Give me a fantasy book based on how long it is.
We'll go with Way of Kings.
Oh yeah, this is like a 9.
This is a big one. This is a big one. This is a big number. This is a big number. Yep. All right.
All right, give me a Lord of the Ring character based on how endearing they are. Just
How endearing. Ooh.
Pippin.
Oh, this is
Fool of a took. All right. All
The
right.
question is, do we think it's a 10? 'Cause I'm leaning
I don't
towards
know.
9 personally, but
I'm leaning towards 9. I feel like Sam would be above Pippin.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
Words of
Well-
Radiance is longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Right. Right.
All right, and then since we were kind of talking shit about Cleveland and West Virginia, give me a U.S. state based on how pretty it is.
How pretty. Oh. It's gotta
Colorado.
be a 9. It's not a 10. You know why?
Oh,
Because she
Colorado.
thought too much.
Ooh.
She thought too much. Because if it was I think, yeah, that's what I think.
I'm fine
Colorado,
looking at a 9.
Yeah, Colorado. I haven't been to Colorado, but it does look gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
You'll get nosebleeds, but it's so worth it. Yeah,
I'm gonna bump mine up to a 10.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You think Colorado's the top prettiest, huh? Or at least you think Marie would have picked Colorado as the top prettiest, right?
I can think of like 3 or 4 states she would put at the top, but I'm taking it in connection with all the other things that she said.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm going to stick at a 9. Nick, what are you thinking?
Listen, it's obviously high up there, obviously, right? But like, I'm gonna take the insider trading bet and just copy Jess here because she knows Marie well. So like, it's gonna be 10.
All right,
What's the number?
It's 9.
Marie, we're best friends now. Forget Jess. This doesn't matter.
You're right.
Jess is
So
out.
if it were 10, it would have been Samwise. It would have been probably like Alaska. But
Yeah,
Ooh,
okay.
okay.
So I was like, it's either Colorado or Alaska, and it's either Pippin or Sam. And I know we've had conversations about both these things, and I couldn't remember where you fell.
So funny.
I know Alaska's prettier than Colorado. I'm sorry, Colorado. You're my neighbor state. I love you. And also, Alaska wins.
Oh, a 9
Fair.
is good. That's a high
Yeah.
rank.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Colorado should have no
Plus one
shame
victim.
about that. Yeah.
And if we divide all the states into like, there are 5 groups for the 10? Like Colorado's probably in the 10,
Yeah.
the
It's
top
S tier
5.
for sure.
But
Yes.
so it's a fair. Yeah.
Nice.
I might have
Nice.
picked like Wonder Woman. I feel like if it were number 10, because she's actually like a superhero. I feel like Xena is like not like.
No. Okay.
I don't
Okay.
feel like
Okay.
Xena has
okay.
superpowers, but is anyway.
Ripley's got to be up there from Alien.
Mm.
She's, in my opinion, she's the face.
The face of badass woman in science fiction. Yeah.
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 Nice.
Well, thank you for humoring me. I do enjoy it.
That was a fun game.
I like the game. Do you have 4 more questions? All right, so yeah, finally, let's kind of get to that controversial topic, like the idea of, you know, we've connected in this parasocial way with some people like Joss Whedon, like Neil Gaiman, like J.K. Rowling, and then, you know, something happens and we discover they're not the wonderful humans that we thought we were. Like, how do each of you, Zach, you included, respond? I think, like, for me, I don't think that I can, like, totally divorce myself from, like, my feelings of the work. You know what I mean? Like I never read Neil Gaiman, and now I'm disinclined to read him, you know? But, like, I really enjoyed Firefly and Serenity, and I don't feel like I need to change that. And kind of similar with Harry Potter. Like, I thought they were fun stories. I still think they're fun stories. I think she's kind of a miserable person, you know? But, like, that's, you know, it's sort of separate. But how do you look at it? Let's start with Marie.
It's interesting because I'm realizing that I think I'm not consistent in how I handle this. So I'm like you. I actually never read Neil Gaiman either. So I'm like, I'll just live without it.
Yeah.
And I talked at length about how much I love Firefly. And Joss Whedon is a predator. And also, Harry Potter. I loved Harry Potter. I think I was the exact age of Harry Potter when Harry Potter came out, so I was like the perfect age to grow up with the books.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, who doesn't love a fantasy novel? And then the things she's saying, I think what gets me about it is the level of doubling down vitriol and really just singling out some of the most vulnerable people in the world.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again with whatever the opposite of remorse is.
Glee.
I feel like, I don't pay attention to Joss Whedon. I feel like he's just kind of melted away into the shadow.
Right.
Rowling has just, like, stood on a stage. And so I think part of it's her attitude, and part of it, it made me critically look at the books and be like, you know, there were some problems with those books.
You know, actually...
I love those books, but there were problems. Big problems. And not maybe there are with Firefly too, but I don't think as much. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just me. And I think, so, I don't know, a part of it is like, I just feel like some people are cruel in a focused way, and some people are scattershot cruel, and that hurts more for me, for some reason. So I'm pretty much divorced from all the Harry Potter stuff that I used to have, and because for me it's just like not worth it anymore to think of the pain. Whereas Firefly isn't quite as painful for some reason, and I think maybe that's a me problem. Maybe I'm not taking all of the harm equally seriously, and maybe I should.
I think we touched on something important earlier when we were talking about Firefly, which is a lot of work went into it that was not Joss Whedon's work. You know, the actors, the set designers, the makeup artists, the costumers. Like, I ran into this struggle recently with all of the Neil Gaiman stuff that came out because I have read a little bit of Neil Gaiman over the years, but my wife, like, really was into Sandman in like her high school years, and so when the first season came out, we watched it together. And the second season recently came out after everything dropped about all of this terrible stuff that he had done. And I was really struggling with it. And I told her, I was like, I don't think I can watch the second season with you. I'm really, like, struggling with this. And she was like, that's fine. That's totally fine. But I still want to watch it because it was such a, like, big part of, you know, my growing up experience that I shared with my friends. I was like, that's fine. And, you know, then I was kind of walking by while she was watching it. And then I kind of sat down. And then I kind of ended up watching the whole thing with her. But I was
You were dad watching it. That's dad
I
watching.
was.
Yep.
I was.
Yep.
But like,
Yep.
That's how my dad watched Gilmore Girls.
but like, I think I had some conversations with some other people who were kind of in a similar boat with me, where they didn't feel comfortable
Yeah.
initially, and then ended up watching it. And what we came to realize was like, this whole season was filmed before we knew that information. All of the people who agreed to work on the show agreed to work on it, as far as I know, without being privy to this information, and they put their hearts and souls into it. This is their craft, this is their careers, this is their creativity. And so in that way I could kind of justify it. Now, if a third season were to come out, I probably wouldn't watch it, because at this point people have to decide, yes, I'm going to do the thing, knowing who he is. Same like the Harry Potter reboot that they're doing on HBO now. I'm like, why? Why would you agree to be a part of this knowing who she is? Knowing that even if you don't agree with her, choosing to be on this project is going to send more money to her that she is going to use to harm vulnerable people. And so I think everyone has to draw their line in whatever place works for them. But I think for me, I want to support creatives, and I want to be cognizant of what creatives are intentionally deciding to support through their creativity. So that's kind of how I justify that. I have not really consumed any Joss Whedon stuff since all of that stuff came out. I loved Firefly too. It still has a very like soft spot in my heart, but it's not necessarily something I'm going to go back and rewatch. I got rid of all my Harry Potter books. I haven't got rid of all the Neil Gaiman books because they're not mine; they're my wife's. So that would be mean. I'm not going to just toss her stuff out. But I won't. I probably won't go back and read them. I feel like there's so many creatives out there who just like deserve a voice, deserve a platform, are begging to be read from underrepresented categories and lived experiences that like I'm just going to prioritize those.
Yeah, for me, I really agree with that. Everyone has to kind of find their line, and I've been kind of lucky to have not really gotten hit super hard by anything. I really loved American Gods by Neil Gaiman, 10 years ago, and I read like 3 or 4 other books by him, and I was kind of like, these are fine, they're whatever. And Harry Potter I was really into as a kid, and then kind of drifted. It's like all these things happening has not really like impacted me too much. But yeah, I really agree with you. You got to find your line about where you're comfortable, and then just stick to it. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to go about it. You know, some people might have a stricter line than others, and I personally don't judge. You know, if someone was like, I don't like Neil Gaiman, but now I'm going to buy all his books because I support him. I'd be like, you're a piece of shit. But other than that,
yeah, I think there is a little judgment. Like, you're allowed to have a little judgment if you're like, you know what, J.K. Rowling really like has a point, and I want to buy all of her stuff now. Like,
well, but I think that's a different thing. Like to me, it's I understand your point, but it's one thing to like consume her work with the intention of an endorsement and whatnot. I feel like maybe it would be a different thing for me to share Harry Potter with like a new telling of it with my son who's 12. Yeah. You know? But I hadn't really considered the point that you're making of like, yeah, like the people that are choosing to do it now know exactly who she is, you know, and they're choosing to enrich her, which is, yeah, an interesting and
the monetary
troubling aspect of it. Yeah,
I'm kind of with you, where like, if someone was really like, I don't give a shit about politics at all, which is, you know, debatably a shitty opinion, and I like, but then that person was like, I'm going to read the Harry Potter books, you know, I'm going to buy them. That doesn't really raise a red flag for me. But then there's the whole monetary issue of, like, you're giving money to someone who's really parading right now, you know?
Right, yeah. Parading's a good word for it. Yeah. You should write.
Maybe if somebody buys this stuff, they should buy it secondhand.
Yeah.
Good rule of thumb.
No, I think that's totally
unless they're in
valid.
Canada, because if you're in Canada, you actually get royalties
really?
from the library. You do. Just one more thing they
Be
do.
right back. Gonna go send my books to Canada. No, I think that's a great point. Yeah, like thrift shops are still a thing, and you can get a lot of Neil Gaiman books at thrift shops if you want to. You know, and then he's not going to get enriched at all. If you feel like you need to
a
go
little
read
free
American
library.
Gods to understand what it was about, you know. But
Book swaps with your friends, you know.
yeah, you're making me think, Jess, and I appreciate that. You know.
I mean, I thank you, and I find it personally really hard to engage with content when I know that the person who created the content is actively, and in the case of some people like J.K. Rowling, gleefully causing harm. That's just hard for me as a queer person, as a person with queer family members. I just I struggle with that a lot. And I think that it's important to acknowledge that these people, especially people who've been around for a while, have built ecosystems around them of other creatives who, yeah, they did do things before the truth was known. And it's not necessarily fair to shit on their work because it was associated with someone who turned out to be shitty.
Right. I would never hold Emma Watson accountable
Exactly.
for J.K. Rowling being shitty. Yeah.
Yeah, Terry
I was
Pratchett.
about to say that.
or whatever.
Damn you.
Yeah.
Damn you beat me to it.
Well, I mean, okay, so Terry Pratchett's deceased at this point. I feel like if something was going to come out, we would have heard it.
Right.
I could be wrong. I could eat my words, but I hope not.
Hope he's safe. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, to your point, if, when all this Neil stuff came out, it's not like anyone was like, man, fuck Terry Pratchett.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, Zach. Something?
Just-
No,
No?
just chill.
Okay.
Ending it on a cheerful note.
Yeah, I know.
Look, we didn't touch on talking cats. You wanna veer left into talking cats?
Let's end on talking cats. So that's perfect. Yeah. Jess, you have a talking cat, and your talking cat was actually Mary Robinette's Foster. I want to hear all about your talking cat.
So earlier today, I was doing my day job, and
Lame.
I know, terrible of me. I had to film a quick screen recording and send it to some people at work, and I was sitting there recording, trying to sound all professional, yes, you go to here and you click on this and then you do that, and here's a look at this, and I hear behind me, Jesse, all done. Jesse, all done. I was just like, you little shit. Her button board was sitting right behind my chair, and she was done with me working. And that is Roving in a nutshell. She is very opinionated. She doesn't have a lot of words. Mary Robinette, her cat, has well over 100 words. It is incredibly impressive. If you want to see a talking cat in action, go to Elsie Wants on Instagram. It's amazing. But Roving has about 13 words, and she uses them well.
For anyone that's not familiar with this concept of talking cat and the words and the boards and whatnot, can you briefly explain? And I do encourage people to go check out Elsie Wants, but and I think it's hilarious, by the way, that account now has more followers than Mary Robinette. But anyway, explain the phenomenon, please.
That probably all sounded like gibberish if you are not familiar with the world of talking cats. So essentially, the buttons are a way for not just cats, an animal. This actually came out of some disability work for helping people who are nonverbal or low verbal to communicate. The button, just a little button you can press.
Physical button.
Yeah, just a little button you press, and it says whatever is pre-recorded into it. So when I first adopted Roving, she had 2 words. She had treat and she had play. I recorded them. I put them on just a little board that the button slips into, and I target trained her. So I trained her so that when she taps the button that says treat, she gets a treat. When she taps the button that says play, we get to play. And then we built on it from there. We added laser feather, so she could choose play laser or play feather. We added from treat, we also added dinner to distinguish okay, do you want a couple greenies or do you want a whole can of wet food? It's usually a can of wet food. And just kind of continued from there. We added names, so now she has my name, she has my wife's name, she has our other cat, Sid's name. Sid does not use the buttons, but Sid knows what the buttons mean. She'll like watch Roving, press them for her. It's fascinating, and like Roving is very, very good at it, and very, very curious, and uses the mad button a lot.
That's very on brand for a cat, I think.
Yeah. But yeah,
I think it's helpful because Roving always looks mad, and so it's nice to actually know when she isn't and when she is.
she just has like something about her face is always glaring. It's like something in her markings. I don't know, but she just always looks furious.
That's so funny.
But yeah,
Zach, you have a talking cat?
No, I have a dog who's getting a bit on the older side. He's about to turn 10, so he's getting more anxious as he gets older, which is kind of annoying. 'Cause he just barks everything now.
Yeah. Scared at thunderstorms?
No, not really, but like if there's a squirrel on the neighbor's tree, he freaks
Yeah.
out. He's
Yeah.
ballistic.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would rather he had buttons where he could just say squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. But no, we were not so blessed.
Not so. Yeah.
well,
All
it's
right.
a really cool way to get to know your animals a little better. I think most people who do it with dogs, not cats. And I just it's been a really cool way to like take the guessing out, I guess, of like what the heck does my creature that lives like this wild animal that lives with me, what does it want? It's just staring at me.
Yeah, I want the laser, duh. Come
Yeah.
on. Yeah. All right. This was such a fun conversation. ZB and I had an absolute blast talking with Marie and Jess. In fact, we went on for another hour and a half. There is so much more to this conversation that I'm not able to conclude here, but all of it is available, minimally edited, on our Patreon. I'm going to include a link down in the description where you can get a 7-day free trial of our Patreon. You can watch the whole thing and watch our other extended episodes and the different author readings we have. We have author reading from Christopher Rocchio, which was our guest last week, which was super fun. Also extended edition there. We have author reading from Marie and Jess. We even have an author reading from our own ZB Steele. Go check it out. All right, I think that's a much more fun note to end on. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Marie. Can you guys go ahead and tell us your website once again?
Yeah, so we each have individual websites too, which we didn't mention earlier. So you can find me at jessicahonard.com, and our book website for our co-written stuff is thegregorybooks.com, and then I'll let Marie tell her website.
It's just marieparks.com.
Super hard.
And done.
Woo!
Right, and I'm sure all your socials are on there, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
To y'all's award-winning, enjoyable as shed bugs. Mm-hmm. Are there links?
Yes.
Yeah. There are. Oh, and the first book does have an audiobook that is recorded
Ooh.
by the phenomenal Mary Robinette Cole also, who's also a professional audiobook, because she's one of those people who like does everything somehow, so. But what did you say? God favors some, or
Yeah. I think though in her instance it's actually just her ADD, right?
It's, I don't know, it's a magic soup of good.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Zach, what a delight, buddy. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, if we're still alive, buy Jess's book, buy Marie's book, buy Nick's book, buy my book. But really, most importantly, buy Jess's and Marie's co-book.
Yes.
Buy all the books. So many books.
Co-book. There's, yeah.
Zach, where can listeners find you online, bud?
Twitter, Instagram. I do have a Blue Sky. I don't really use it. And then, that's pretty much it. My books are only on Amazon, or you can buy them direct from me.
ZB Steele, where can they find you online?
That's perfect.
All right, and you can find me at nicholaswfuller.com, and they have links to all my socials. Thank you, all of you, for hanging out way longer than I thought we would today. This has been an absolute delight, and I've enjoyed it. That's why we've been hanging out so long. Thank you, listeners. I hope you've enjoyed the extended edition here, which is better than the theatrical release.
You're ending on a lie. That's horrible.
And if no one's told you yet today, you're an absolute legend.